Catherine from New England Surrogacy. How are you doing? Today's Ask Catherine question is from a surrogate, and her question is, I am considering a match with a set of prospective intended parents who have one frozen embryo. What do I need to think about as I consider this match? Okay, so the good news is that if they only have one embryo, you're talking about a single embryo transfer, obviously. So you don't need to worry about whether to do a double embryo transfer or a single embryo transfer. It's already been decided for you. But there's really, two major things you want to think about. One is, has that embryo been PGS tested already? If it's been tested, then and the chromosomes have come back as normal, that it has the right number and shape of chromosomes, that is a good sign. It doesn't mean that the embryo is going to work and implant and turn into a baby, but it's a good sign. And it's a sign that the embryo has a better chance than an embryo that we just don't have any information about. So that's the first thing to think about. The second thing to think about is, what's the plan if this embryo doesn't implant and result in a pregnancy? What's step two? Are these intended parents done? Are they going to be done with surrogacy at that point? Or are they going to look to make more embryos? And if they're going to make more embryos, what is their plan surrounding that? And the reason I mention that is that sometimes it can take a really long time for parents to make more embryos, even over a year or 18 months. Now that's definitely on the high end of the range, but it's not not unheard of for it to take a while. So if you've got a set of intended parents who live in Massachusetts, they have excellent insurance coverage that's going to cover making the embryos, and the intended mom, it's going to be her eggs, intended dad's sperm. All they have to do is, call up their fertility clinic and schedule that cycle. That can be pretty quick. Making embryos can take a couple of months, very quick. If you've got intended parents who need to think about whether they're going to use a donor, or who need to select a donor, or who need to think about whether they're going to use a frozen donor egg bank, a fresh donor cycle, if they're going to go with a clinic donor pool or go with an agency, an egg donor agency, that's the kind of stuff that can take a while. And you have to also factor into that is that not all intended parents have insurance coverage for making embryos. We are lucky here in New England that several of the New England states, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, do have pretty good infertility insurance laws. So a lot of intended parents are going to have help with financial help through insurance for making embryos. If they don't have that help, though, then that's an additional cost that the intended parents have to take on. $15,000 or even more, up to $30,000, $40,000 is not unheard of. So that, saving up the funds to make that happen can be an additional factor that comes in and, adds some time on how long it takes before you as the surrogate get to your embryo transfer. So these are just some of the things that I think you should think about if you're thinking about matching with intended parents who only have one embryo. Okay, good luck. Bye-bye.